Welcome to the Life of KG, your ultimate destination for all things motivation and business insights. Join me, Katie Godfrey, serial entrepreneur and the brains behind the KG brand. Along the way, we'll welcome inspiring guests and share invaluable business tips to fuel your growth journey. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. With that said, let's dive into the world of success together. If you're ready to level up, you need to join one of my masterminds. My clients are getting insane results. One client works from home, has tripled her income, and is now joining the mentoring space. Another client was stuck to her salon floor, but now has retired from the tools, and her team is just running the show without her. Another salon owner had a training academy too and wanted to scale her training academy more than the salon, which she is now doing, and created online courses and created a passive income. If you want to stop winging it and start growing today, then you need to apply. The link is in the show notes. Hey everyone, welcome back to A Life of KG. Today on the show, I have my beautiful client Chelsea, who owns Dermalase, which is clinics and training academies, which I'm so excited to talk about her story and how far she's come and touch on her training as well, because that's so important within industry. So hi Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
Yeah, really well, thanks.
Good.
I'm so excited to be here.
I know, I'm so glad that you're here. It's been a while.
It has.
So let's touch on you. Basically, who are you? What do you do? A bit more intro than what I've just given.
So I'm Chelsea. I started Dermalase about 5 years ago. Just started from a home salon. My husband Kyle converted the garage. And then a year later, we then started a high street clinic for laser and IPL, and that's what we specialise in. And we brought in skin, and that's doing phenomenally well. And there's just lots of bits in the industry that I felt was missing for solo entrepreneurs, clinics and salons, which is why I kind of started the training academy now as well.
Amazing. And your clinic is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Like the high street one is insane, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They're both decorated exactly the same inside, so same flooring, same decor and everything. But yeah, the high street one that we've got in Chroma is stunning with the glass front and stuff.
Can we please franchise the clinic? So you've already got all the same flooring and the same decor everywhere. We need to get this clinic everywhere.
Yeah, it's like the branding. It's like it's the goal of it, isn't it? So yeah, I'm really so pleased with it and how it's come out.
It's so nice. So before you started the clinics, was you in business before that? Was this your first business venture?
So no, it was completely new to me back in 2020. So initially before, when I was in an employed job. I was a dental nurse for about 14 years. And then my last 5 years of dentistry, I was an implant dental nurse, which I cannot tell you, for anyone that's a dental nurse and wants to go into something a bit different, that this industry is like the best thing for you. I took so much from that job, just in terms of like accountability, like note taking, like just doing things proper rather than just like a tick spot exercise. And so after when was it, 2020, so we were in COVID, and then I had my second son Rio. He was born 3 days into the first lockdown, so that was like a pretty horrific time. And literally all we had was my maternity pay. My husband was self-employed but didn't get any help with that. So then I realised that I just don't want to do that anymore, and I don't want to be employed, and I just kind of want to make my life something for my husband and my boys and going forward with that. So that was kind of the spark of Dermalase in that way. There was also another part of that I have polycystic ovaries myself.
Right.
So if anyone doesn't know what that is, polycystic ovary syndrome is it's a mix of imbalance of hormones. So I actually have more of a testosterone in my body than a normal female, who has more like progesterone and female hormones like estrogen as well. And so because the hair was just so much, and especially what it's like with hormones after you've had a baby and stuff.
It's a nightmare.
It's horrendous, isn't it?
I'm actually having laser after this session today.
That's
yeah,
so bad.
And I'm so gutted you're nowhere near me, because otherwise, obviously, I'll be booking in with you.
And it's just so needed. So when we were in lockdown, I knew when we come out of it, I was like, I need to get this hair lasered off, and so I was going to, you know, clinics that were around me and just asking, you know, what do you do with PCOS? And it was honestly like, they couldn't really give me an answer. In some clinics were like, yeah, no, we can deal with it. But other places were like, oh, we don't really know how that's going to help. You're going to constantly need laser hair removal like throughout your life, and it doesn't really help because you're imbalance of hormones. And I was just like, they're just not really sure. So then, me being me, I just then kind of done my own research and was like, okay, so I don't want to be in this position in terms of finances with my family. I want to make something of myself, and I have an issue that I don't feel that anybody else can kind of help with at the moment.
Yeah.
So why don't I try and help people with that? And that was kind of like the spark from Dermalase, really.
I love that. And they do say like those businesses that start with a reason, like helping yourself first, are the ones that do the best.
Yeah, it's different because you've then got so much passion behind it as well.
Yeah.
Because you started with that problem.
Yeah.
Do you know
it's
what I
not
mean?
just like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to make loads of money, or I'm doing this because this will be nice and easy to start up. It's literally like, I've got a problem and I want to help myself, and then I can help others.
Yeah, totally. And that is the fundamental thing. Like, I don't think you can go into business purely just based on like money, or, you know, oh, this is a good idea, and like you've got no passion or anything behind it. Like, I really understand, like, there are so many clients that come to us and they talk about PCOS, and then I tell them that I've got it, and then you just kind of see them like relax so much, because we can just really understand them. And I just think that that's just so important for anywhere really to just get that.
And it's funny you touch on that, because it was only this morning on the way here to the studio, I was actually talking to a client, and they were like about wanting to start this new thing because this will make loads of money. And I was like, straight away, it's not going to work. And they were like, why? I said, because the reason you're doing it is to make the money, not because there's a passion or a reason for help or any of that. The money soon gets boring. Or actually the whole drive is just that, and when it doesn't come, then you pack it up anyway.
Exactly. Like, you're just going to fall at the nearest hurdle, because you just think, oh, I'll just go on to something else will work, this just doesn't work. Whereas, and for anyone that owns a business, like, when you start off in them first few years, like, that is tough. Like, and I mean, you push yourself to limits where you're like, okay, I should probably stop doing this now, but you don't, and you just keep going. Like, there are so many times that we've been on the phone together, and I'm like, hey, I'm just not sure if I can go through this. Do you know what I mean? And you're just like, no, like, it's just a tough time. And what was that word you said? Like, you're just being tested.
Yeah.
Like, you're just being tested, and you need to just push through it, because this is tough as it's going to get at this point, but you're always going to have these hurdles to like get over.
And I think like that's really tough in the beginning, really, really tough. Like, then first, I'd say 5 years easily in business, and which is why there's such a high percentage that people don't get past 10 years. You think after 10 years, like, oh, things will start going smooth now, everything starts getting easier. But actually, most close off, like, just before they get to that 10-year point, which I just think is amazing.
Yes, yeah.
But
totally.
I mean, you would have heard me say it all the time, but test and temporary, like my words, because I'm like, because I do it myself. Like, even when, I mean, I said to you earlier, like last week, I was literally like freaking out about certain things that were happening. I think people will assume and look and go, oh, Kate's got it all. Like, she does this, she does that. The businesses are running. Yeah, we have all of those things. Does it mean it's not hard?
Yeah.
Like, my gosh, like, we have still break points now, or we still have cash flow problems, or all those things that businesses go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'll always go, okay, something's tested me here. Or I'll go, this feeling's just temporary. But I always say that, and it helps me. Whatever I'm feeling now is just temporary.
It's so funny, because when I actually open my banking app, you know, on Barclays, and you can have like a word or a phrase that comes up, and mine is everything's temporary. So if things are going really, really well, I'm like, it's temporary, Chelsea, so keep on that like trajectory level. Or if things aren't going so bad, I'm like, everything's temporary. It will change again. You know, things are just changing all of the time. And I just think it's just really important to just, you know, trying to work that out. Like, people talk about work-life balance. I mean, it's just a load of BS, really, isn't it? And it's the same with like kind of finances. You're going to be up and then you're going to be down, but it's just trying to keep that as a steady level. But there's always going to be problems, and if you don't have problems, I don't feel that you're pushing yourself enough, to be honest.
Always. And you've obviously opened up basically 2 businesses in a time period of what?
It was 4 years, from when I first started Dermalase at home. Well, I actually started in my friend's salon, which was like a tiny little room, and I was there about 6 months, and then Kyle converted the garage for me, which we still have, and runs 6 days a week and does phenomenally well. And then that's when we had that for then 3 years, and then we opened Chroma, which is on the high street.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How have you found the difference from having high street salon and having, would you call it a home clinic then?
Yeah.
Because you have team across both.
Yeah.
Which I love, and I actually think that's very, like, want people to notice that, because just because you have something from home, I think lots of people go, oh, I've just got a home business, and I'm like, do you know how amazing that is? Do you know what you can do with that home business? Like, it's incredible. But what's been the pros and cons for that? Because you can now look at both.
I think being from home, you've got less overheads. So again, me and Kyle, we had this discussion where he was like, well, should we just get like a Norwich clinic then? Like, do you want it from home anymore? And I'm like, but you do need to be smart in them early days. So like your overheads are going to be less if it's from home. And then if you have your, high street clinic, like you've just got to be aware in that first year. And I did not realize, I remember something you said to me, is that second location. It's always the hardest. And wow, that was
the hardest.
That was pretty tough. I mean, that is just nothing but blood, sweat and tears that have gone into that, really. But I think it's really important to have your staff to cover both locations, because if you have things like sickness or you need to cover someone for like holidays and things like that, like they can just jump in whenever, and then all the clients get used to it, all the therapists as well. But they are technically fundamentally different in terms of location as well. Like our clients at our second location in Chroma, our clients are so vastly different to our ones at Norwich. And so then you have to adapt your business to then meet your audience in that way. And it's just all of them little things that you just don't realise when you go into it. You're like, oh, I've just done this from home. Let's rinse and repeat it in a different location. No, like if you think it's going to be that easy, like it's just not. And so we've got used to it now, and it was a year, the 22nd of April, that we had Chroma for, and I just think, geez, how far we've come in a year. Like so much. Like there's been some real big lows, and I think we're now on the trajectory, but I'm so glad for them lows, because I don't think I would have the knowledge now what I did a year ago. 100%.
The lows make us stronger for sure, but just touching on the location, I really think that's so underestimated. Like the intention of where your location is based. And we realised that when we had the chain of salons, I remember there was 3 locations that were all very similar. And they all done really well because the types of clients were the same. The research went behind it.
Totally.
Then we opened one up in Essex, which was a completely different location on a high street. So we were like, this is great, drive-through traffic. We don't have that on any of our locations because they're village locations. Completely different. It was the worst salon.
Was it?
It just didn't fit our vibe. Like, just wasn't great. And it was all down to location. Yet my salon now, everyone was like, that's the worst location you could do, Kate. It's got no high street. That you're hidden. We was off the high street. It's a little village. And yet it's always been the most successful one.
Totally.
So it just shows like the audience is so key.
Absolutely. And sometimes you need to be a big fish in a little pond when in terms of location. So then people, like if it's a small village, people around you everyone talks, don't they? And then when you're in like a big location, like if we were to have a Norwich one, because that's a city centre, that would we would feel like a small fish in a big pond, because then there's so many laser clinics around it, and then you're going to have that clientele who's like, oh well, I can get it, you know, done cheaper with Sally down the road, and it's like, okay, cool, you know, you go to see Sally, that's fine. It's then you then feel like you then have less to choose from in terms of like audience that way, because they don't know you as a brand. Whereas if you're in a smaller location, they get it. And we do need to get that with Chroma. It's just that it's just very, they're just back in there. I love the Chroma. It's so quaint. It's like, it's along the sea. It's just very traditional. They're just not like tech savvy, and that's okay. And it's just then fitting the business around to meet their needs.
Yeah, definitely.
You know
You've got
mean?
the training going there as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
The training's all hosted there.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as I'm aware, there is not a VTCT, like Ofqual regulated training centre in North Norfolk or Norwich. I think our closest is like Essex, because that's where I had to train.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was your reason for wanting to start the training? Because I know you're so passionate about this, and this is kind of your drive at the moment when it comes to education.
Totally. I think the reason for that is when I done my VTCT qualification, it didn't teach me the fundamentals that I needed to know. It taught me things about health and safety and your COSH and your risk assessments, which are all, don't get me wrong, extremely important. It's a bit like when you go to school and they teach you algebra. Like, they're just teaching you something that you're probably not really going to need that much then when you know, get out into the real world. And it's the same with that, whereas VTCT now has changed quite a lot, where you just need to do the fundamentals and then you can teach anything the way that you want it to. So then I would bring different things in that can actually help your business and push it forward. Yes, obviously, you know, your basics of laser techniques, laser settings, you know, all of them things you need to know in terms of having a laser clinic. But then there's things like your insurance policy, making sure that you are following that. What other ones are there as well? Like your consultation process, like really trying to connect with your like client on that level. Like I have PCOS, and I knew what it was like when I went in to have consultation. I felt like I was just another number, you know. And you get that a lot from home clinics. But then if someone's like having a salon or a high street clinic, for instance, you just need to have it more like personal. So I just want to bring all of them factors into training.
Yeah.
You know, you like yourself and my sister definitely have taught me about figures and tracking your figures. And because ultimately, what's that thing you always say? We're running a business and not a really expensive hobby.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't do it for the money. Absolutely not. You have all the passion behind it, but ultimately it's feeding your family and keeping a roof over your head. So you need to just make sure that that's working, because if not, you're not going to have a business at all. So it's just bringing all of that stuff into it. So then when people leave, I find that at the moment when people leave their qualification, they just have this, okay, now where do I start? Now what do I do? You know, and we can just then kind of help people to just know where to start, to just take that first step. And I've got my qualification, and now I know where to start, even with social media.
Yeah, it's such like a bigger beast than just doing the treatment. But the manufacturer training is so basic, isn't it? I get asked all the time, Kate, how can you help me? Now, I have everything from masterminds, online programs, events, retreats, literally anything you need, I've most probably got. And the reason for doing this is because when I started, I just wish I had some help. I just needed a guiding hand. Sometimes I just wanted to watch an online course for half an hour, or I wanted to actually have one-to-one coaching, or then I went on to join in a mastermind. And I wanted to know that I could help you at whatever stage you're at, whatever level you're at, that I've got something that's suited for you. So if you are interested in working together, drop me a message and let's see what we can do. Click below in the show notes to go and grab the link.
So basic. So yeah, I think, so obviously all the regulations are coming in now, especially like with aesthetics and things like that. And it's the same with laser. So at the moment you can go and buy a laser machine and have, like, I think the minimum is like 4 hours manufacturer's training. You can get your insurance on that, and then you can go off and laser people. Now that just scares the hell out of me. Like, you don't have to have a VTCT Ofqual qualification or even a CPD one, it's just manufacturer's training. And there is just no way. I've had clinics that I've spoken to and they say, oh, well, my manufacturer's training was really, really good. And I'm like, it could be the best. But there are things that they are going to have missed out that you just not know. You just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just trying to bring light to the stuff that people just don't know is really like my why behind it.
What would you say, talking to all these different laser clinics that you are at the moment, is like the biggest things that they're missing? Or what tips could you give laser clinics that are maybe listening on how they can progress their business a bit more, get them better results?
I think it's all in everything they're avoiding. So if you look at the tasks that you really don't want to do, a lot of that will come down to like your clinical note taking, your before and after pictures, putting them together, like all them really like almost like draining tasks, but that you need to do, because if you don't have that data, then you can't push forward, you can't then represent your company, you can't then, you know, just kind of show your reputation, if you like. Like this is how good we are, like this is what we strive for. And so yeah, everything's hidden in the stuff that you're avoiding, pretty much. So if it's your social media you're avoiding because you're just doing your treatments, that's where you need to focus. If it's your, oh, I just use this setting for every client that comes in, okay, well, you need to then focus on researching how you can get better at your settings and understanding them, rather than just hoping each time a client will come in and be like, oh, I'll just use this thing, I bet it will work for them this time, because it probably won't.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all of that. Everything's hidden in the stuff you're avoiding completely.
And talking about social media, you are super consistent right now. I mean, if you haven't seen Chelsea on socials, then you're hidden under a rock. Like, what's this like driving force that's kind of put this rocket up your bum to be consistent?
I tell you what it is. There's I don't know if anyone knows who this guy is, but there's a guy called like Dan Martell.
Right.
And he has his own business. He's actually like SAS Academy, which is like technical stuff, which has nothing to do with me. But you know me, I have a podcast. Don't I?
Yeah.
And I was just listening to him, and I follow him on YouTube as well. And he has 5-day non-negotiables that he does. And so one of them is I have to be face to cams at least once a day. And if them 12 hours, because is it 24 hours or 12 hours? 24 hours.
24.
Yeah. So every 24 hours, I need to post my face on there about doing something. And sometimes you've seen me like in my gym stuff, because I'm like, oh, I've got something that's popped into my head. I need to now talk about that. Like I'm not like researching it, thinking, right, what can I do next? Like information or ideas will pop into my head, and I think I need to share that.
Yeah.
And then that's why I do it. And the other thing is like exercise. Like I'm really trying to look after my body at the moment. And then the other thing is just like kind of networking, so interacting with people. So like every follower that we get, I send them a message and be like, what are you here for? Are you here to want to grow your business? Are you here for your treatments? Are you just here for the content? Like, and 60-70% of the time I actually get a response, and before I just wasn't doing that.
Yeah, that's huge.
And the amount of organic leads that we get through that is mental. Emily even said to me the other day, she was like, so we had like 4 new clients like come on today, and I'm like, yeah, just done it through like Instagram.
It's crazy,
as soon as they followed, I just sent them a message. And I think that's really, really important, because you're the face of it. You do need, like, that is your job. Like, you need to be able to like help people. I say sell, it's not. It's where I look at us as like problem solvers. They're coming to you because they have an issue with your skin, or they have an issue with the unwanted hair on their body, and therefore they are following you for a reason. You know, you're not cold calling them or anything like that. So yeah, that's just I'm trying to just be consistent that way. And with them 5 things, I don't know if I mentioned them all, but and the other one is listen to 20 minutes of a podcast or read 10 pages of a book is my other one, which if you speak to my sons, they're like, geez, mum's always got AirPods in. So yeah, they're just the kind of things that I'm just trying to do every day, which have just really helped me.
It makes such a difference though, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, I have it like a standard now. that I now need to.
And I think, like you said, like people get so scared or worried about going like face to cam online. But when we think about it too much, it then like that's when you're doing your hiccups and like you make mistakes so you can't do it. But when you are like, actually, this has just come into my head, I'm going to film it right this second. People can feel that authentic side that comes out through you and that realism and like just the passion that comes through. I think it's so important to do it like that rather than thinking, right, and now I need to go put my makeup on, now I need to put my other clothes on. It's like, no, do it as you are right now.
Yeah, literally. And you will see me like I even apologized to people watching me, like, sorry, I'm in my gym gear. I didn't really have much makeup on. I've just been for a run. And I just think like people say, I just don't have time. Like this morning, so this is like 2.5 hours away from where I live. Like my boys had to be at Breakfast Club, and I still managed to get up at 5:30, and I went for a 35-minute run this morning because I knew I couldn't have done it at any other time. When I get home, I'm going to spend time with Kyle and the boys, so I just need to get up earlier. And so when I say a non-negotiable, like, unless I'm at a wedding or something, when you get up at 5 a.m, you get ready and then you're there all day, you know. But most of the time, like, that is like I just feel like I need to do it, and if I don't, I feel like I let myself down. And I feel that confidence comes from all of the stuff that you do in private.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I'm not letting myself down. And so when I am face to cams, I think, no, I do believe in myself. I'm trying to strive for more, and by me doing all of these things every single day, it's proven to myself that I can do it. And it's not that I'm just I don't think I'm better at anyone else or anything at all. But I just really want to do better for me.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you showing up like that consistently and doing that for you, and it's like a goal for yourself, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's going to make you be ahead of anyone else anyway, because more people are going to see you, more people are going to be like, start doing that, build like trust factor. Like that's becoming, I mean, you've seen it with all the mastermind girls, we're all like, we're seeing you everywhere, we're loving your stuff, like it's so obvious to us. And that's why more followers are coming through, more new clients, and obviously every video you put out gets put out to more people that don't follow us anyway, rather than like static photos or anything.
Yeah.
So exactly, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And don't get me wrong, like if you do go on my social media, which is Dermalase_skin clinic, please don't think that I do it. I have like 2 girls behind me. Tori, my social media manager, she is incredible, and she does all of the clinic stuff in terms of treatments, and she's recorded videos, does content, she's amazing. And then there's Lily, who does a lot of the training academy stuff with me. And so obviously I have all of the approval stuff, but they literally build it, and I love that they can see like the brand and what I'm like striving for as well. And it's just so nice when you have like a team like that around you. It makes it even easier to like get your reason out there, if that makes sense.
Definitely, it helps so much, and it's like getting support on business where people might not think's needed.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've cracked that now, especially now obviously you've got your PA and stuff. It helps so much get the to-do list down, the things that we just have to do as business owners, which then we focus on them tasks rather than the money-making tasks.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got that team now that are making everything so much more streamlined for you.
And it's so funny because we went for a stage of trying so many therapists, and bearing in mind we've just got like 2 locations, and I thought, I'm actually going to invest the money now in someone who can help me in the back office stuff, so then I can do more of the needle moving tasks, and then more of the approval, because that is the fundamental reason of why I need to do that. It's pointless me sending a few email or like moving an appointment when I could be on something like this and like outreaching to our audience and wanting to help people, you know. So yeah, Lily, who helps with a lot of the admin, I mean, she's a VA, but I like virtual assistant. I hate the thought of having a virtual assistant. That's a bit like I don't know, it makes me feel funny. But yeah, she's amazing, and I literally couldn't be without her, to be honest. Yeah, she's quality.
No, it's so good. And obviously, we've been on this journey together for like a year now, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
Seeing your growth has just been incredible. from the highs, the lows, the emergency calls.
Jesus Christ.
The wins, like
there has been a lot. Yeah.
What's kind of been your favourite parts of Mastermind so far?
The networking. I mean, just meeting people and having conversations much like this. And with our girls, like when we went to like Marrakesh, like there was just a group of girls there that I was just like, you're my people. Like, you're my people. We have conversations that like we light each other up, and we're just like, yeah, do this, or like we're throwing out ideas, and yeah, you need to do that, or this is an idea, we could do this. And yeah, it's really just that connection. And what that does is that holds you accountable for yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because if you know the things that like you should be doing, and you see other people doing it, and then they give you ideas, you're like, oh, you know what? No, I am going to listen to them. Because it's really tough. Like, if you're sometimes family and friends and stuff, and when they're not in business, it can be really quite difficult for them to, like, my dad always like really protects me, and it's just like, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. And whereas what we do on the Mastermind is, no, you need to speed up.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be hard, but just keep speeding up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the accountability is just the main thing, and all the strategies like behind everything is, I mean, I literally could have done this year without it, I don't think.
I'm so excited to see what this next year brings as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like with that, like I can't say that I carry like Dermalase solely on my shoulders, because then there's Emily, who's like our like senior therapist, and she has been like an absolute rock throughout every single low that we've had and every single high. And I just have to mention her, because she is so fundamentally important to Dermalase.
Yeah.
In just every which way. And she's helped me unknowingly, I think, because she lacks confidence. I'm like, borrow my confidence from me. But she's getting it, and she is honestly like absolutely smashing it with clients, and people love her, and yeah, she's just doing amazing.
I think it just shows that like we don't have to do this alone, right? We need our team in the background.
Yeah.
We need them to be able to do all the things that they're amazing at, to carry us, especially when as business owners we're having our lows.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're still cracking on with what their day-to-day is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then as business owners, most of us think we have to do it alone, or like I said, speak to the friends and family, which then they're all ways will be in protection mode to protect us, because they care for us in ways. Not like we don't care for us in ways, but we're like business.
Yeah.
As well as protecting, our souls. But I think until you're in something, you don't realise how important that accountability and network is.
So important. It's just, I just don't think you can move forward without it, because you're always going to create an excuse for yourself as to why something's not happening. Like I had 3 major issues happen in October last year, and they could have easily like just knocked me down. But without the network like behind me of you guys and my sister as well, she's a huge part of my life in terms of business and at home. Without them sort of you guys sort of people around me, I just don't think I would have pushed forward. No. I would have given up.
How's the journey been on mindset? I know that obviously we have to have such a strong mindset in business, and obviously you're doing these 5 non-negotiables and stuff, which is helping with that.
Yeah.
Would you say your mind has changed?
Totally. I think when you have or start a business and then decide like, oh no, I actually really quite like this and I want to start growing it, I now think of every huge loss that we have, or every huge hurdle or problem or anything, I know it will then counteract and then turn into something good. So everything that I then have that happens to me, I'm like, there's a reason why this is happening. I've even got to learn a lesson, or I need to change something in the business. Something's not quite working. And so I think it's just swapping your perspective on why is this happening to me, to okay, this is happening to me because something needs to change, or I need to change, or my environment around me needs to change. And I think that is just ultimately what that is. It's just changing your perspective on it. Like, I get to do this. I get to be in this position. Because what's the point if you just kept winning all of the time? Like win, 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 win. Like it would get so boring after a while. And I think like life is so much of like a balance where you have to have a low to know the stuff that you're getting wrong in order to get it right. And so, yeah, I think of a problem when it comes to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I get that horrible feeling rise in my chest and my stomach when an issue occurs. And I'm like, oh God, that's bad. But then I quickly just turn around and think, okay, how can I solve this? What do I need to do now in order to push forward through it? So, yeah, I think it's just changing your perspective on the situation is pretty huge.
Definitely. So before we finish up, on the training courses, what is there on offer there? What would someone come to you for?
Okay. So we have masterclasses. So for people who are already qualified in laser or IPL or even skins, we do dermaplaning, microneedling, chemical peels, things like that. They can come to us to a masterclass where we will help to teach them on a list of things that they don't know. So everyone will have to fill out a form, like a quiz, and then I will be able to gain from that their level of knowledge and what they need in terms of business and technique and all of that. And so that's how the masterclasses are built, and they're usually in 1 or 2 days. But then we do have a sort of like membership going now. And if they wanted to stay for 3 months, I'm able to then keep going to theirs and track their records in terms of, you know, how they're doing it with their staff, like leadership skills, because my God, in this last year have I had some pretty big leadership issues with myself. And so I just feel like I'm just better at that, and I'm just able to help people with that going forward. And then also we have our VTCT off-qual qualifications that we're offering. So if anyone wants to get into laser or IPL or skin, there will be regulations coming in where you can't just have a CPD or a manufacturer's training. Like, they are changing, and therefore you need to have a proper qualification in order to be able to do the treatments. And so we offer that. But what we also offer is a mix of the masterclasses with it as well. So you can get like the sort of like mentorship in terms of how to do clinical notes. We will look over your insurance compliance, because I'm yet to find a clinic or salon that is insurance compliant for laser hair removal. I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't spoken to them yet. And obviously that's a massive worry, isn't it? So again, just comes down to you don't know what you don't know.
No, unfortunately, in this day and age, you've got to do everything that
You've got to do
insurance covers. Everyone is suing everyone, aren't they? Unfortunately, it's the world we're living in at the moment. Yeah. So you've got to make sure that back's covered.
Absolutely. And there's like, people ask me, what is insurance compliant? And you know, when you ask that question, you're just like, wow, okay. So, and again, it's just not this stuff that's taught. It's just like in schools, they're not teaching about mortgages or interest rates or, you know, and all the fundamentals that you need to like live a life. And that's what I want to do in our industry. I want to teach everything to everybody for the stuff that they actually need to build a business, move forward, and just create as much freedom, but also passion around their treatments and services that they can offer.
Amazing. So if anyone is already a laser clinic, or you've got laser in your salon, maybe you not getting the results that you really want, maybe you're too anxious to even still touch it, because we hear that all the time, don't we? That they've gone on these training courses and they're like, it's sat there, haven't even launched it yet, too worried I'm going to burn someone, all of those things. Then make sure you reach out to Chelsea and she can help you. If you're completely new and you want a training course and to learn in this area, then also reach out to Chelsea. 100% trust right there for these training courses. So I'm so proud of you. Literally, your whole journey has been amazing. I adore working with you, and I can't wait to see what the next chapter is.
I know. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome.